A very warm welcome to the Football Martin channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're looking ahead to the FA Cup. FA Cup action returns this weekend. Southampton host Burnley at St Mary's. And to preview this one, I've got a very, very special guest. I feel honoured today. I feel like I've got some football royalty in the house. I've got Simon with me. He's a football content creator and hairdresser. He's based in Burnley. He's a massive Burnley fan. And not only is he a Burnley fan, he cuts hair of many, many Burnley players as well. So welcoming onto the Football Martin channel, Simon Townley. Thank you very much for joining me on the Football Martin channel.
It's a pleasure. My brother was speaking to me today and I said, I'm doing a live with Football Martin. He said, oh yeah, because he knew who you were. And he asked me, he was like, how did you manage that? I said, you know what? I think we followed each other for about 2 years before TikTok blew up for you, and definitely for me. And I said that we never crossed paths because we never in the same league at the same time.
No, that's correct. Yeah,
it's nice to actually finally get an excuse to create something together.
Yeah, no, I've been looking forward to this all week actually. Obviously you're one of my first followers actually. I started TikTok, started the Football Martin channel around about 18 months ago, so it's a long time ago. It's a great. Before we get into the game chat, it's actually quite cool to talk about football content creation, actually, because there's loads of people being inspired to create football content. There's a lot of hard work that goes into this, though, isn't there? We were talking off camera before we come on. It's not an easy thing to do, is it, to put yourself out there and to build a channel? What's your experiences have been like building your TikTok following? Because you have an incredible following across social media.
Do you know what? You've got to get past your own demons, and I say that with a seriousness about it, because you do get trolled, you do get hammered, and if you're not prepared for that, you will never ever be able to continue, because that's probably the most interaction you get, especially at the early days in the beginning. So it's not easy. You have to sort of know what you're recording before you record it as well. But you just make mistakes, you learn, you find out what works, what doesn't work. But it does genuinely become an obsession, if I'm honest. And looking at the analytics weekly is almost like looking at the till at the end of the week. It's like, have we done well or have we not done well? It's almost like a business.
It is. It's an incredible thing. I don't regret doing it. But one thing I have had to learn to do, Simon, is have thick skin. If you're going to put your opinion out there, you're going to take. Not everybody's got a different opinion in football, haven't they? Some people don't articulate it very well, I find. You're on a good path though, and it's opened some great doors for you as well. In and around Burnley, I should mention it. You're one of the presenters in the exclusive lounges around Burnley. Give us a little bit of an insight to what you do on match day when there's games at home.
So I've been asked a couple of years back now. It was when Sean Dyche, so it was a bit longer actually, was the manager, and I got asked to do hosting for the Players' Lounge. Now, it wasn't, not the Players' Lounge, sorry, the corporate lounge. And it wasn't something that I was ever considering doing. But long story short, they wanted some new hosts, and it had a new ownership model. The Americans had come into Turf Moor. They wanted a new sort of breed of hosts. And long story short, they said that the players didn't necessarily enjoy doing the man of the match interview at the end of the games. So I said, I say yes to everything. One thing, I'm 38 now, but I still remember things that my granddad said to me years ago. Is try everything because you can always get off at the next stop. And
Absolutely.
Anyway, I did it. Said yes. Absolutely bricked it. The players were far more comfortable being interviewed by me because I cut their hair anyway. But me, oh my days, mate! Like, they were comfortable. I was an absolute bang. Honestly, it was awful. I've got 500 people in front of me listening to every word I say.
It's a lot of pressure, Simon. It's a lot of pressure.
I have no idea what I'm going to say before I say it either. That's my problem. I'm saying stuff, and I don't actually know where my ending is. I'm just talking, hoping I find an end question or something at the end of it. I just ramble like I'm doing now.
Yeah, no, I do that a lot. When I pre-plan stuff, but once you end up in the moment and you're in that presence of a professional footballer or somebody that you look up to, you can just kind of lose yourself for a period. You do, don't you? You just do.
Do you know what else is a bit of an issue that I never thought about until I did it? Was when I got to more familiar players that I knew very well, like the ones who I cut hair for or whatever, I started, as I was about to ask a question, I had this horrible, overwhelming doubt hit me and thinking, do I know the question I'm about to ask because I know them, or is that public domain? And
Yeah.
honestly, like, you're backing forward. You think, is that common knowledge that I'm going to ask this question? Like, what's your favourite supper? You
Yeah.
just think to yourself, you start second guessing yourself with everything. But I've had an amazing time. I'm still doing it now. It's
Yeah.
a whole new bunch of players. I'm blessed that I still cut hair for a lot of them. Up until recently, anyway, of an army accident. But I'm hopefully be back soon.
Yeah, Simon had a car accident a while ago, and I hope you're recovering. You've had a tough time. I've been following your journey on social media, mate. So best wishes from everybody here on the South Coast.
Thank you, appreciate it.
In your recovery, and hope to see you back in those lounges soon. I enjoy those videos, Simon, when you're there. I do enjoy them. You need to go, before we get into our football chat, you need to go give Simon a follow, whatever you do. Simon, shout out your handles. Where can everybody go and find you?
I'm 90% sure that everything's at Simon Townley. If it's not at Simon Townley, it should come up by searching that. They're my personal ones. If you're interested in hairdressing, which some of you, mainly female creators might be interested in, we have one called Hair Socials as well, which has got about 30,000 hairdressers in it now.
Yeah, no, you do some great haircuts. He's a wonderful hairdresser, by the way.
Thank you.
And at some stage, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I need to get to Burnley at some stage so I get my haircut by Simon.
It's almost looking like our paths aren't going to cross again at the minute, because obviously we hopefully will go up, and unfortunately it looks like you might come down again. So one day we will make it work.
We will go down. There's no doubt about that. Let's talk about Burnley. Let's talk about the season. I want to go back a little way, actually. There's a lot of comparisons with Southampton and Burnley right now. So let's go back to that Premier League season that you had last year under Vincent Kompany in the Premier League. Talk to me what was it like as a Burnley fan and your fan base? What was that season like last year?
It was frustrating, demoralising at times, but you kind of hoped it would click at some point. Every game, even towards the end of the season, you're like, we will go on a run at some point, and there was a false hope every now and again with a good result. And it's much like yourselves at the minute. You'll be experiencing very similar things. You get a good result against Ipswich, and you think, if we can get another 2 or 3 of these wins in, we're back in it. And it was much the same with us. But it's this modern brand of football that is there to entertain us, but doesn't necessarily provide the results. We are absolutely now in the polar opposite of that, but we'll go into that later. But at Vincent Kompany time, in the Championship, was the best experience of football as a Burnley fan that I'd ever experienced. We dominated the division, played attractive, attacking football, often 2-0 down in the last 15 minutes, and we'd still come back and win 3-2. You just knew that we were going to win, and we had this overwhelming, almost an arrogance about us that we are good to watch and we are good at what we do.
Yeah, you played some brilliant football that Championship season.
And I can see exactly why Bayern have bought into the Vincent Kompany model. He's the most obsessed, dedicated person I've ever seen within the industry. And I've seen, obviously, I've been blessed. I'm 38, been cutting hair for 20 years now. And what he does was obsessive. It was really, it was different. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a brilliant year to get promoted back in the way you did. Like you say, you played some unbelievable football. Standout moment from that season when you got promoted back to the Premier League last time around. What was that standout moment, do you reckon?
See, I worry about saying the same things, but obviously for the Southampton fans that are mainly watching this, you might not be aware, but we won the league at Ewood Park, which is, I think, Portsmouth are your nearest rival, the biggest rivals.
They're our biggest rivals. Yeah.
So that would be the equivalent of you winning the league on their patch. It was like a movie.
Great, that would.
Honestly, it was like a film. And so be it. Sky Sports were filming a documentary about Vincent Kompany and Burnley all year, so we get to relive it as many times as we want on TV. It was unbelievable. One of the best feelings ever. Watching that ball, the game was terrible, by the way. We was the worst we played all season. But the elation and the 15 minutes to half an hour after the game, when the players are in the crowd with us, they're having team photos in front of the crowd, and you can see, it was incredible. That was probably a standout moment. And weirdly, the first game of the season against Huddersfield, we played Vitinho, a £1 million Brazilian. I don't even know if Burnley had ever had a Brazilian before that. That was a really surreal time. It was a real change of the guard, I think is the right expression. Darsha's gone. We've got a new a leader, if you will, and it was a different type of football that I'd never seen. So that was a real glory moment as well.
Yeah, great moment. Imagine that, Southampton winning the league, Saints fans at Portsmouth. You never know, that might happen next season when we get relegated if they stay up. And obviously we go down, which we probably will do. You just never know. That could happen. What a moment
Burnley
that would
only
be,
have 5 songs, by the way, and now I think we've got 6 because of that. We've actually made a song because of it.
Absolutely one to make a song about. Absolutely one to make a song about. You go to the Premier League and Vincent Kompany wants to play this brand of football that he played in the Championship that worked so well, didn't it? It did work so well. A bit like us when we had that year in the Championship. Go to the Premier League is a different beast, isn't it? The Prem.
You can't legislate for it because you dominate a division like the Championship in the way that we did. I genuinely went in there with a thought that we were going to be top 10. I genuinely felt that at the time, and that is stupid. And people will be watching this laughing at me now. But I genuinely thought that we will go there. And Vincent Kompany knows what he's doing. He's got the right players around him, and he's probably going to invest better. You've just had the same experience. It is. You can't legislate for how hard of a transition it is. And unfortunately, by the time you get going, it's often too late.
Yeah. Do you feel like the gap between the two divisions is just like too big now? Like it's huge, isn't it? Like, you need to spend so much money when you go back to the Premier League, don't you? You spend massive money.
I watched TalkSport the other day, and it was talking about Nottingham Forest staying up last year with a lower points total than the average, and this year looks like it's going to be even less points to stay up than the average. I mean, the 34 was the golden goose, if you will. We all aimed for 40 points. Yeah. And now I think 30 points could even see you safe at the minute. It's that challenging.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. What do you think really went wrong last season for Burnley? Was it recruitment or was it the style of football that he was trying to play in the Premier League? What do Burnley fans put it down to, do you think?
So I've got to be careful with these sort of answers because obviously I do know a lot of the players, and it's a hard one to take. But I think even they will admit that sometimes we had to be probably a little bit more pragmatic in a game where we stood by our morals and our football.
Yeah, but the philosophy.
The philosophy, great word for it, because it was literally a CV builder. It was never ever
Vincent.
Yeah, it was never ever about the club, and I learned that unfortunately because I think like most Burnley fans, we all fell in love. We all believed. Alan Pace, you can see it on the documentary. I'm not disclosing anything, but Alan
the documentary is superb, by the way, isn't it? The documentary is outstanding.
He was visibly upset when Vincent left. It was that traumatic of a time because it felt like we were just about to start making waves. You look at your Brightons, your Brentfords, teams like that. It can be done with the right model, and I felt like we was on that path, and unfortunately, we wasn't.
Yeah, it's gutting, and there's a lot of what's happened to us this season happened to you last season. We had a manager that wanted to play a very similar brand of football. He wanted to keep possession. He wanted to build from the back, tippy-tap football. Wasn't about working off the ball. He wasn't prepared to grind out results, and he actually said that. He came out in a press conference, and when he said that, I thought we are in big trouble here because you have to grind results out at the highest level. Because if your back's against the wall against a Liverpool, a Man United, a Chelsea, an Arsenal, you've got to dig deep sometimes, haven't you? You probably don't have the players that an Arsenal do or a City do, but you need everyone to give 110%, and you need to just defend with your bodies and scrap. And he said, we're not going to scrap. We're not going to scrap results out. But you have, and you've touched upon that and what you're saying. You have to scrap results out. And we relegated ourselves doing exactly what you guys did. And how our football club didn't learn off of Burnley, it's just quite incredible. I just can't, even now it makes me angry thinking about it. It as a passionate fan, and I speak for any Southampton fan and say the same, it was so naive, Simon. It was so naive what we did.
But you say that Southampton didn't learn from Burnley, but unfortunately the model that they were shown in the manager was if you play the same way, you will be rewarded with a Bayern Munich, even if you get relegated. So why would a manager change his philosophy when he's seeing someone be rewarded for what I would see as a failed season? Yeah. It's a difficult one, and for managers, I completely understand it. It takes me back to, this is not new, by the way, because I remember in 1995, all them years back. We
Mm.
had Glenn, 94, we had Glenn, what's his name? Glenn Roder and Chris
Yeah.
Waddle. Chris Waddle was the manager.
Chris Waddle,
Uh,
yeah, what a player,
Chris
by the way.
Waddle. And we was absolutely in turmoil, spiraling down the division, and we thought we were going to go
Mm.
up. And the long story short is that he said, "I don't care if we go down as long as we play the way I'm asking them to play every week." He
Mm.
basically came out and said them words all up. So it was, yeah, it's not a new thing. Managers just care about the CVs, and that's the product of what we're in.
Yeah, it's quite incredible, isn't it? It's quite incredible. You obviously got to the end of that Premier League season. He obviously, like you touched upon it. He went to Munich. Were the fans disappointed when he went? Was there a
Yeah.
feeling of of upset that he left? Did the fans want him to stay?
Oh yeah, I think that we thought that this is a learning curve for the manager.
Mm.
And we never saw it disappearing because his family was from Manchester. We're close to Manchester. You know,
Mm.
I think we all felt that we were the apprenticeship for Man City. So as long as
Mm.
Pep was in charge at Man City, we would have Vincent.
Mm.
And that's, again, it sounds stupid when you say it because you can see with hindsight that that's not the case. But at the time, in that moment, you'll have felt it last season when you got promoted. You're in love
Mm.
with the club and everything about it, and the club's in love with the fans. But
Mm.
it's at times of turmoil that you see the real toxicity of people, and it was difficult to see it all change overnight. But you know,
Mm.
look at Sean Dyche, for example. Burnley fans love Sean Dyche. We don't expect to be playing fancy football all the time. We just want hard-working
Mm.
football. And the pragmatic approach that I mentioned with Vincent, if we could merge them two together, oh, they'd be unbelievable. But one was a
Mm.
bit old school and one's a bit too modern.
Yeah, yeah. How? Obviously, this season's going well. You're having a really good season under Scotty Parker. Totally, like you said, is a different style of football.
Yeah.
What should we expect? Is like I've not seen loads of Burnley this season. I'm going to be honest. What should we expect at Southampton of what you're going to come and deliver at St Mary's at the weekend?
Isn't it crazy, the snobbery of when you get to the Premier League, you suddenly forget about the Championship? Like you said, you haven't seen
Yeah,
much
that's
of
really
Burnley.
fun. Yeah, I've
We
not
was the
watched
same.
anywhere near enough. Yeah, not watched anywhere near enough Championship. And do you know
It's
what?
mad.
I watched the Championship highlights last night from the weekend because I've not watched enough. I thought I've got to prepare myself because that's where
Yeah.
we're going. And you've got to have a feel of what's going on in that division. I've seen a little bit of Leeds.
Yep.
I haven't watched. Yeah, to be fair, I've seen about 45 minutes of Burnley all season.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it was the right 45 minutes because if you watch the first half of Plymouth, you will
Mm,
be frightening and shaking in your boots. If you watch any other 45 minutes, maybe not so much.
yeah,
Um,
I did see a
we
bit of that
have,
Plymouth game.
yeah, we have a stone wall of a defence at the minute. They are literally
Mm.
not moving. I think we have conceded 9 goals so far in the season, which is a record
It's
for
unreal.
Europe
It's
at the minute. Yeah,
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
with Esteve, who is our main centre half. He was there to replace Taylor Howard-Bellis, who I think that
Mm,
was ridiculous that we didn't sign for the money that you paid for him.
mm,
And then we had CJ Egan Riley, who I think will admit himself probably didn't expect to be a starter this season, and what a
mm.
player he's become. Connor Roberts knows the division inside out on the right, and on the left side we've had a couple of changes. We haven't really found a regular, but I'd say Humphreys and I can't remember now. But yeah, we've changed the left side quite a few times, depending on the opposition. But them three
Second,
there are
you sit
the main
second,
ones.
don't you, in the league? I've just had a look at the league table. Second, I was just looking for the midweek fixtures. Leeds still top. You're in a really good position. It's quite tight though, the division, isn't it? It looks like it's going to be between. Well, you'd say probably Sheffield United and yourself for second as it stands.
Yeah.
Maybe Sunderland to put a bit of pressure on, but they're going to have to go some. You'll get automatic promotion by the looks of it, though. It looks
I haven't
looking that way.
I haven't got the table in front of me because I'm filming it on my phone. But it's I think there's a big top four, if you will, and then after that there's quite a gap.
There
So
is, yeah. You've got Sunderland on 58 points in fourth place.
yeah,
Blackburn Rovers are having an unbelievable season under John Eustace. They've got 45. So you would say it'd be between Sunderland, Sheffield
yeah.
United are level on points with you guys. They've got a game in hand though. Don't know who the game in hand is against, but they have a game in hand. And then
I
it's
think
obviously you guys and Leeds.
just to put it into perspective of how challenging the season has been in the Championship, because obviously we're blessed that we're at the top part. I think Blackburn went and had one win in 11 up until a couple of weeks ago, and they're still in
Yeah.
the playoffs. So
Unreal.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's that's how tight it is. Everyone's beating everybody, and that's what makes it exciting, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it does make it exciting. Have you the football that Scott Parker plays? Is you're
Yes.
saying they're not letting loads of goals in,
Yeah.
defensively really really solid.
Mate.
What's been the real pluses of Scott Parker this season?
So the organisation, the starting out from the right. I mean, he's an old fashioned sort of logic of, if you don't concede, you're halfway to winning. And I think
Yeah.
that's the model that we base ourselves on. Whereas I think Vincent said if they score three, we score four.
Mm.
So it's a complete different other side of the coin, if you will. And it's not entertaining at times, I won't lie. But I also argued last year when we was, falling like a stone that yes, it might be
Mm.
entertaining football, but it's not working. So
Yeah.
people need to sort of think about that. A lot of fans are in a confusion at the minute of whether they're enjoying it or not. And for me,
Mm.
it's a results-based industry. I'm finding it. The results are good, but not necessarily
Mm.
the excitement of the performance. Maybe we were spoilt with Vincent's season.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
sorry
suppose.
to go on for the tangent there. Yeah, Scott
Mm.
Parker's team very well organised. Everyone knows the roles. We seem to have found an 11 bar one or two that we
Mm.
rotate, and I think James Trafford started like the starlet of the season because last season he got a lot of stick off the Burnley fans and it was hard to watch.
Mm.
Me and you have a passion for goalkeeping, as you know.
Yeah.
My son is a goalkeeper who's only
Mm.
5 years younger than Trafford, so to see them booing him,
Wow.
that wasn't a comfortable thing for me. So I'm absolutely delighted and elated that he's finally having the season that we hoped he would.
Mm, yeah, he's a good goalie. He's a good goalie. I've been looking at some statistics ahead of this one. Actually, I think it's going to be an interesting game. I feel we're looking just to put some back-to-back wins together. Really, obviously we won at the weekend first time under
Yeah,
our new manager,
same
Ivan
man.
Juric. It's been a really really tough season. Changing manager, we play very different to how we did play. But looking at the statistics on this one, Southampton have won just 2 of their last 11 matches against Burnley. Drawn 4, lost 5, all in the Premier League though between 2017 and 2022. Both wins coming in the 2020-21 season. In the FA Cup, Simon, Southampton and Burnley had only ever played each other twice. The 2 previous FA Cup ties between Southampton and Burnley were in 1908 and 2014. Both were won by Southampton though. It's good news for us. How are you feeling about the game? How do you feel it will unravel?
Do you know what? This is a competition for me that I always want to do well in it, but I
Mm,
wouldn't sacrifice a league for it. And at the minute,
mm,
we're flying very high. We've got quite a big squad still. You know what I mean? We've got the return of Manuel Benson who tore up the
mm,
championship, but then unfortunately been riddled with injuries. We've got Hannibal who's not been starting regular. You know what I mean? So we have got some
mm,
decent players that are going to be in there, but I'm yet to see them together in a season. So I'm a
mm.
bit nervous. We played Reading in the previous round. I think it was 1-1 going into extra time, and then we won. Oh, it was straight to penalties, or was it extra time? I can't remember.
Was it Zion Fleming? He's been involved in 4
Yeah,
goals in his past 2 FA Cup matches, 3 goals, 1 assist. He's scored 2 extra time goals for Burnley in the 3-1 win over Reading in
that
this
was it. Yeah.
season's 3rd round. So he's certainly one to watch. Is he a regular at the moment?
So it's
Fleming?
interesting now because I think the FA Cup gave him his stage, and since then he
Mm,
has been the regular for Burnley. Do you know
mm,
what? I really rate him. He's playing in a number 9 role,
mm.
bought from loaned from Millwall, to be honest. And I think he was a number 10 there. So I don't think it's his perfect role, but do you know what? He's doing a great job at it, and he's dangerous. He's threatening.
Yeah, he sounds like he's done all right in the FA Cup. Looking at these statistics, I'm looking at your previous game was actually down on. Am I right in saying it? Were you on the south coast at the weekend? You were, weren't you? You played Portsmouth at the weekend, 0-0 draw. So it's a second trip to the south coast in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure the players will be excited that when they got the FA Cup draw coming through. Everyone wants a home fixture in this early rounds, especially. But
Mm,
it is what it is, isn't it? It's not like the old days where they used to have to get a coach. They fly from Manchester,
yeah.
so it's just part and parcel of it. I'm sure they'll be buzzing for it. But yeah, Portsmouth was a very dull 0-0, and we could have honestly lost it if it weren't for James Trafford, who made an
Yeah.
unbelievable double save.
Yeah, he's a good goalkeeper. I saw the highlights of the game against Oxford United, 1-0 win there. But the games come thick and fast for you because you've got this game at the weekend against us on Saturday. Then you're straight back in action on Wednesday because you take on Hull City, who are scrapping for their lives in the Championship on Wednesday. It's another big game, isn't it? So do you think we'll see Scott Parker mix the side up a bit for this, or is he very consistent with what he puts out week in, week out?
I think for the FA Cup, he's going to change it because there's some good players that still need game time. So I think you've got to do it. I think also the first teamers do need a rest because, like you said, the games are coming thick and fast. I also want to sort of point out that in Parker's defence of the football we're playing, when you've got 2 games a week, like we have pretty much since November, you don't really have time to do anything on the training field other than just getting prepared for the opposition.
So just quick turnarounds, isn't it?
So the fact that we are grinding out results, you know what I mean? Everyone wants to be Leeds at the minute because they're flying, they're scoring 4 and 5s and 6s and 7s in the other day. So I would like to have that result, but at the minute, I'll take what we can get. So to answer the question, I think he'll change it, but it'll still be the rigid Scott Parker team that we expect, I imagine.
Yeah, we don't score a lot of goals, Saints, neither. So I can't see it being
a lot of goals. So.
Yeah, I can't see it being a spectacle. I think it'd be. I think Burnley will be looking at it as a real opportunity to progress to the next round, the 5th round. I really do. I think it will be. They'll be looking at it and think, well, we defend well, but they don't score a lot of goals, Southampton, and we don't. Where's the weaknesses? Any weaknesses that Southampton can exploit, do you think?
It's a good question. I think the left side's still up for grabs. So, you know what I mean? I don't think our left side's necessarily our strongest, but it depends on the team he puts out. If he changes it, if I'm honest, we're good aerially. We're quite good at sitting deep. So it's going to take a little bit of a moment of magic almost, or a mistake from the Clarets to see you through. It feels at the minute because we are that good defensively.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the game. I've been unwell this week, but I am going to go to the game. I'm going to make sure, as long as I'm all right, I'm going to go to it. How many Burnley fans come in? I haven't looked at what they've sold actually. I don't know what the allocations are like. Whether there's many going to travel south for this one. FA Cup, I'm not. The attendances are a lot smaller now, aren't they?
Oh, I mean, football's outpriced as it is, isn't it? So the extra fixtures don't help. The fact that we had Portsmouth at the weekend, which we took a good turnout to. I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but I've seen the images and it looked quite full. Can't see us filling it out this weekend, but you never know. The nice weather, people might have got a rush of blood and thought, "Go on, we'll go for the weekend."
So we'll go south again. It's a big old trek again. I need to, as we're coming to the back end of our preview show, I need to trouble you for a score prediction, Simon. So I'm going to put you right on the spot now. I need to get your score prediction for this one.
I'd be daft if I didn't say 0-0. Because that's the common score in the Burnley thing, and you telling me you don't score many goals. I'd say 0-0 if I'm being realistic. If anyone's to win it, I could see it being a 1-0 win from either side. The problem with where we are is you're the bottom of the Prem, we're the top of the Champ, but we've spoke about that gap already. We don't really know what the levels are going to be from both sides. Yeah,
I think it'd be really, really interesting. I think it'd be a tight game. I think it'd be 1-0 either way. I can't call it actually.
No.
I hate my score predictions, but I do think it'd be 1-0 either way. I'm totally with you on that. It's been brilliant to get an insight on Burnley. You're confident they're going up? Do you feel you're going to go back to the Prem?
Yes, I mean consistency is key in it in football, and once you've got that momentum, it takes you further sometimes than flashes in the pan. And I think if we can continue this momentum, which I can't see anything other than 0-0s and 1-0s for the rest of the season, you'd hope that someone has a dip. Sheffield United didn't look like they were going to be caught at one stage, and now they're sitting 3rd place. So it really can turn at any point in the Championship because of 1 week can be 9-point difference. So I genuinely think the consistency will take us there. Fingers crossed, mate, it is not via the playoffs. I don't think I can handle it. Yeah, the playoffs. I've been there last year, and it was. It's amazing when you win it, but the actual heartache of the 3 games to go through, it nearly finished me off. I don't really want to go through it ever again, but it was that winning moment is special though at Wembley. 2009 was our last playoff, and we thankfully got promoted to the Premier League for the first time. The only thing I will say is my son was born in 2009, and he's never seen a playoff. So if we to go up through the playoffs, it is a magical moment.
It is a magical moment. I wish you all the best for that.
Thanks,
Been great
guys.
to chat about Burnley. Simon, before you go, everyone's going to ask me this question anyway. So, guys, get involved in the comments box below. Give me your thoughts on the game and your score predictions. Drop those in the comments box. Obviously, you're a hairdresser, and everyone's going to think. You mentioned at the top of the show, you cut a few of the players' hairs. Obviously, you're not working at the moment. But who's the most famous footballer's hair you've ever cut? It's a question that I wanted to ask you, really, to be fair.
I mean, it determines on famous because if we're going on following, it's one answer. But for me, on a personal level, I was blessed to go to Russia and France for the Euros, but I got to go to Russia for the World Cup. And for some reason, I was obsessed with the thought of cutting Gareth Southgate's hair. Because at the time, people will go mad now, but at the time, he was the poster boy, the waistcoat, everything about England was everything's Gareth Southgate. And I was blessed enough to do that. So that's definitely up there as one of my biggest haircuts.
Yeah, nice, good. Who's your favourite footballer? Do you have a favourite footballer, or do you just like you get on with them all, don't you? You got a good relationship with the lads. I mean, it's not just Burnley players' hair you're cutting a Man United goalkeeper's hair as well.
Yeah, McTominay, Jones, and I've been so blessed in my career. There we go. I'm back. Sorry, right. Let me go.
That's right, mate. I can edit. I can edit that bit anyway.
Yeah, I'll say that I could.
If you just go from "I'm so blessed," that'd be perfect. Yeah. Go from there.
So yeah, I'm so blessed. I'm the luckiest man in the world. I often say it, and I genuinely mean it. I wanted to be a footballer growing up, like most of us that are listening to this podcast. I was born with brittle bones disease, which meant that I break bones very easily. So I did try playing football with my mates, and it often ended up in A&E. And me swearing to my mum I wasn't playing football with my friends. But it was just a dream to be at this level. And I read an article years and years ago about this barber flying out to Brazil to do the Ashley Young's hair, and that was my first thought of I want to do that for a career. So the fact that I've done that, I never really believed it, but yeah, I'm so blessed. But yeah, Man United, Liverpool, your very own Danny Ings, Charlie Taylor. I've been so blessed, so lucky, and I've got a box of shirts over there that I know we're doing a live on TikTok. Maybe I'll get them out for that.
Yeah, we'll get them out on TikTok. Definitely. Simon, it's been so good to chat to you. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the channel, and everyone, everybody that's tuning in will absolutely enjoy our conversation. You're a must follow on social media, so make sure you go give Simon a follow. I'm going to leave all his social media platforms in the show notes below, so you can just click the links and go give him a follow. Simon, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolute blast.
I mean it, Southampton. Good luck. Let's turn the tide. Let's see if you can stay up. I really hope you do.
It would be amazing. Thank you, mate. It's been a pleasure.